So first of all, very happy that the second edition is happening in Amravati too, and it's been a wonderful last year. And I'm really thankful to Lakshman. I've been a great fan to you. I never imagined that I'll be sitting moderating you, but it's my real pleasure. So first to kick off, so Lakshman, like, what do you think the whole concept? So it's happening for the first time. I mean, it's the second edition. But what about the concept? Do we how important is that to have conversations around social media? You know, are we not talking enough every day about it, or you know?
Firstly, I think it's a real pleasure and privilege to again come to Vijayawada. Whenever I come here, I've got some fond memories. I was just telling to the CEO of tourism, saying that my first representative match way back in 1989 was in Vijayawada in the municipal stadium. So I've got a very strong affinity to Vijayawada. As far as social media is concerned, I must say that I've also got a strong affinity to social media. I was a very reluctant person as far as social media was concerned. But over the last 4-5 years, especially after my retirement, I got into it. But I think when you're asking me a question, where are we talking about it every day, or are we not talking about it every day? I think we are talking about it every minute. I think we are talking about it every hour and every day. I think that's the importance and the impact social media has made not only in India, but world over. It's a global village, and through social media, we're able to connect. Someone from Vijayawada can connect with someone in Antarctica, someone in England. And as a cricketer, a former cricketer and present media personality, I think we are so fortunate to be connected with our fans. So I think we are giving enough importance to social media, and I think rightly so.
So when connected, like, are you also opening giving an access to a lot of fans to be it criticism, be it like the Virat incident which happened recently? Is there a social jury which is around every time?
See, I think that's the beauty of being a cricketer in India or playing this wonderful game in India. Because I think we are very fortunate that the game is healthy in India, unlike some of the other countries where it was popular before. The reason for that is our fan base. We have got loyal fans, we got fans who are our well-wishers, who are emotionally connected to the way the Indian team performs, who are emotionally connected to the way the Indian players perform, and their emotions run up and down based on the performances of the cricketers. So wherever there is emotions, there is always going to be positive emotions, there's always going to be negative emotions. So I feel that negative emotions is just a reflection of the true love. And that's something which I have definitely learned from my younger days, that as a cricketer, if suppose you're ready to acknowledge the accolades, the praise from your well-wishers, from your fans, then you're supposed to also accept the criticism. But as long as that criticism is not personal, as long as that criticism is constructive, as long as the criticism is meaningful, it's fantastic. So I think there will be instances where through the social media platform, the fans, or may not be the fans, can get an opportunity to troll the cricketers or troll personalities. But as long as it is meaningful, as long as it's constructive, I'm all for it.
What's your favorite troll recently? Because
the favorite troll, well, actually, I don't get trolled so much. So I feel that that's a blessing for me. But the one incident I will never ever forget, as far as my experience with social media is concerned, was 1 year back. When Australia were in India, there was a test match which was happening in Ranchi, and there was an incident just before the tea break. I think it was on the third day, where we felt as commentators, as media personalities, that Steve Smith mocked Virat Kohli's shoulder injury. So when I was during that tea break, when I told that, especially after the unfortunate death of Phil Hughes, no one will ever mock a player for getting injured, because we all were so sensitive about the way Phil Hughes unfortunately died on a cricket field. and people didn't understand what I tried to say, and especially I got really trolled and hammered on the social media from the Australians, who actually love me. So that's why sometimes, if you don't understand what a person is telling, or you don't understand the reasoning behind your comment, it's very easy for people to troll you, to abuse you, because it's a free platform. In the past, what used to happen is it would be very difficult for someone to express their views, because the only way you could do that was through the print media, and not many people, not many fans would have access to express their views through the print media or the electronic media. Whereas now, it's a free medium, and I actually think it's a positive, because this is the medium through which the fans are connected with the players. The fans are connected with their heroes. And I think that's the way it should be, and I'm sure that it will just continue going forward also, because ultimately when there is a connect, when there is a relationship, when there is a healthy relationship between the fan and the celebrity or the personality, then I think that particular career or that particular profession or that particular like sport will definitely flourish. So I see the positive in it.
Absolutely. Like you mentioned, Twitter is more of a sports bar. People, you don't have to meet people like sports bar. You sit everywhere. You connect over online. Especially the fans are before the game, during the game, after game. So they are so much into the game, as you said, right? So do sports franchises or sports team can influence the perception of the fans, or the way they behave on social media or the way the content created?
Well, I don't think that they get influenced, but they will definitely understand what is in the minds of the fans. I can tell as a mentor of the Sunrisers franchise or a lot of teams I'm part of, where we definitely understand what is the expectations of the fans from that particular team. Like I know we got the Orange Army fans, and we're very fortunate that over the last 4 or 5 years, that fan base has really grown. And we are very proud of it. So that fan base is growing because you're doing well as a team on the cricket field. But we also understand what the fan requires or wants or expects from the Orange Army. So we don't take decision based on what the fans want, but we definitely understand what is the requirement of the fans. The other important thing is we want the players to connect with the fans. So we run various campaigns during the IPL or just before the IPLs where the fans through the social media platforms can participate in various competitions, and once they win, they get an opportunity to come, probably practice with the players, connect with the players, which itself is a big boon for the fans. I think, so I don't think that it's influential as far as what the fans think or post in the social media platforms, but we definitely take into consideration what the fans expect from the franchise or what the fans expect from the various teams.
Let's talk about the content business right now on social media, be it from sports or be it from video. So what do you see the future of sports content in India especially?
Yeah, I think sports content is very important. And as ma'am just mentioned that, you watch a movie and you get to spend 3 hours. Whereas now in 3 minutes, you can create a content which is visible not only in India but around the world. So I think the content is very, very important, but also it's very important to make sure that that content is authentic. I've also seen in the past that sometimes the unauthentic content is out there in the various social media platforms, which is not the right way. But I think the content is going to get bigger and bigger. Like I can tell that a lot of young kids write to me or tweet to me saying that I'm posting my videos. Can you just tell me what do you think about my batting? So he's sitting somewhere in the USA and he's posting his video to me and asking me to see is there anything I can observe in his batting? Can he improve? And if at all, in what aspects he can improve? So I think the connect as far as the people or the fans from various parts of the country or the world with a cricketer is amazing. So content will become big, but the important thing is because of the size of the content also matters a lot, and that's something which I'm sure that that we as cricketers are concerned about, because when you're doing a commentary or when you're going and analyzing something, suppose on various broadcaster channel, we got enough time, we got enough space because it's coming on television, live television. Whereas in platforms like Twitter, you just got a very minimum space, minimum time for you to post the content.
Right. So do you also see a future for a special social media just for sports or sportsters?
I think, see, it's a field which is just going to evolve with each and every day. And I'm hoping that there's already a lot of fan base. There's a lot of fan base for particular teams, particular players, and they're all very, very loyal fans. So I'm sure that, you create that groups where the concerned cricketer or the concerned celebrity or personality can engage directly with their fans. And I think it's just going to get better and better. I want to just share one example here, how strong or effective social media can be. And this is something which Mithali Raj, the Indian women's team captain, mentioned. Last year when they went and they played the finals of the World Cup in England, they did really well. They came as runners-up. But suddenly everyone, the entire country noticed the way the Indian women's team performed. And she told that this is not the first time we've come to the finals of a World Cup. We've done that before. But it's just because of the social media where each and every Indian is now following what the women's team is doing in England. And that's the reason why we are getting all this hype, why we are getting all this limelight. So that's the power of social media, and I believe that it's just going to get stronger and stronger.
Because on those lines, before the match, or what is the pressure on the player when during a series, when people, there is sentimental polls, there is fan polls. So based on that, like, what sort of pressure does a player goes?
Well, I don't, see, when social media came, I think I was already retired from the game. So I don't know what the current players go through as far as the pressure is concerned, but I can say this much, that you have to be emotionally strong or mentally tough, because it's never easy when you know that someone is expecting a lot from you or someone is criticizing you for not performing well. If you're not mentally tough, then it can pull you down. So I think as cricketers, one thing which we are always reminded about or we keep in our mind is never to think about the things which are not in your control. So as a cricketer, you don't want to read too much into what people are expecting from you, what people are saying about you, because then you somehow subconsciously probably succumb to that expectation. As a cricketer, all you want to do is to go out, play to the best of your abilities, and you go and fulfill the expectations of yourself and what the team requires. So you don't really go into the notifications. And I think as cricketers, through the social media platform, I think the only thing which the cricketers will try to do is to connect with the fans. And now through Instagram, through Twitter, or through YouTube or Facebook, that gives an opportunity for the fans to know more about their role model or their hero, because now it's more about the personality and the personal life of their role model. Because in the past, the only way we used to connect with our fans is when we used to meet them physically, maybe at the airport, maybe at the hotels or at the ground, we sign an autograph. Nowadays, yeah, they take selfie. But now we post what we do in our off time, how do we spend time with our families, how do we spend and celebrate various festivals, occasions. So now the fans now actually connect to their hero and they know more about their hero than what used to happen in the past.
So then, like, how is social media helping a sports personality to brand himself or herself on social media? Not just cricket, any other sports, because now Indians are getting to know more sports and more sports personality from the social media. Like, what do you comment on that?
I think branding is very important, because branding is nothing but the perception you create about a certain product or a certain person. So I think through social media, everyone can create an image, create a perception for themselves, and again, that shows by the posts they put across in Instagram or on Twitter. Like, for example, it's not that I do that for branding, but I consciously want to do something for the underprivileged kids. So 3 years back, I started VVS Foundation, and since then, there is a conscious effort from my side that I highlight some of the human service done in our country by people who are not even recognized, people who don't even matter to the others, but they in their own silent way go out and help the needy, help the underprivileged. But whenever I started posting those stories, it's just been an unbelievable effect. There's a government which has come forward. There have been people who came forward and supported what they did. So with that effort, what happened was they were able to support a lot more underprivileged kids. They were able to do a lot more to the society. So I believe that for me, through my social media platform, that is what I want to reach out to people, saying that, okay, through my Twitter handle, I want people to know about the stories, about what people are doing to help the underprivileged. So every cricketer or every personality, I think, has got a unique USP, what they want to communicate through their social media platforms, and everyone will have a different agenda, everyone will have a different passion through which they want to communicate through the social media platforms.
But Lakshman, generally talking, the youth are getting used to social media so much, like addicted. There has to be a lot of organizations like Alcohol Anonymous, something like Facebook Anonymous, right? So what do you comment on that, especially Indian youth, when India has the largest youth population? So where should we keep social media at?
I think I don't like the word addiction, because anything which you're addicted to can also have a negative effect on you. So as long as it is within your control, and that is so important. Whenever you think that, okay, I don't want to use this anymore, you should have the control not to use that. As Madam rightly mentioned, that they feel unhappy if suppose when they post something and people are not liking. And the first thing they see after 5 or 10 minutes after they post is how many people have actually liked my post. So that's, again, you're dealing with the emotions of a person. And if you're not mentally strong, that can actually destroy you. People are craving for people to recognize what they're posting. So I believe that they should not be addicted. But this is a platform, if used constructively, this is a platform, if used with smartness, can lead to a lot of new ideas, because I believe that through social media, and if you see, one of the biggest thing about social media is there's so many innovative, creative ideas out there, and I think as long as they're not addicted, I think it's a great platform to be on. But I definitely urge the youngsters to be connected through social media, because in this world, it's all about networking. It's all about knowing more. It's a world where the more knowledge you have, I think the more successful you will be.
Where do you see the governments or police to play a role in regulating the social media, be it in the form of fake news or to filter the content? So do you think, generally speaking, governments have to come in and create a social media policy for that?
Oh, it's very important. As I've seen a lot of incidents where there have been fake news, there have been fake videos posted, which actually aggravate the situation, which can instigate the crowd to take some drastic action, and I think there is a huge role as far as government is concerned to make policies, how to make sure that the social media platforms are not misused. Because again, wherever there is good, there will be bad. So I think it's also important to make sure that you have enough guidelines how to use the social media platform in a constructive manner. I think it's very important that the government takes a stringent steps. It's not only steps, but stringent steps, because this can mislead a lot of youth, and you don't want that to happen.
So what is that one last utility social media is servicing to the people abroad, but we are not using that for, is there anything which the content social media is not talking about?
Well, from sports point of view, I think through social media, I think it's done a lot of good. And I've got a lot of friends in Australia, Indian friends, who are in Australia, who are in US, and it's just unbelievable that they know more about what's happening in India than I know. And that's the power of social media, and I think they follow the Ranji Trophy scores, they follow what's happening in first class cricket, and it's all through social media. There's continuous updates on various portals. which have various websites which have Twitter handles or which are on Instagram. So I think as far as sports is concerned, the content is perfect. It just requires to be continuing the way it's doing at the moment.
Can you name 2-3 favorite social media influencers or sports person, be it anyone you follow, you'd like to let the youth follow them?
Okay, I'll ask quick question. How many of you like the tweets of Virender Sehwag? So he's my favorite. He's my favorite, you know. And again, I think through the social media platforms, the personality comes out. You know, so when you see tweets from Viru, you know, his personality comes out. You know,
never knew that personality before.
Pardon?
We never knew that
Yeah, you never knew, but I knew him very well. Yeah, so I think through the Twitter handles and Instagram, the personality comes out. So I really enjoy, you know, going through the tweets of Viru. It's magical, it's comical. I mean, whatever you want to say, you can tell. But also at the same time, so while he does that, and that's almost to engage his fans, you know, and again connect with his fans. But at the same time, he does a lot of good things through his social media platforms. If you want to know more about the game, you know, what's happening in different parts of the world, and I think I will go with Asha Bogle and Akash Chopra. You know, both of them are fantastic. And I'm a big fan of Sachin Tendulkar. So I like following Sachin and to know more about what Sachin is doing in his day-to-day life. You know, what are the activities he's engaging himself with. You know, how is he contributing to society. So I like Sachin. Again, so it again depends on what you're looking for. If you want to have a very good laugh, then I'll go to Viru. If I want to know the updates about the cricketing events happening across the globe, I'll go to Arsha and Akash. And if I want to know just about someone who I admire so much, so I go to Sachin's Twitter handle. So I think that's the advantage of social media, is you can pick and choose what you want, you know, and so for me, these four are my favorites.
Do you also feel that, or not you as such, but because, you know, as a larger audience, do stars, be it cricketers or film actors or anyone, have a responsibility to respond to an issue or to an ongoing movement, you know, be it anything?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, again, it's a choice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a choice. But you as people who can influence the youth in the country. I always talk about youth in the country, you know, because our country is full of youth, you know, and the better the youth performs, the country automatically will perform better. So I feel that whoever can influence the minds of the youth, I think they should talk about various issues concerning our society. But again, what is the right forum? You know, that's very important. You just cannot be very loose in expressing your views, you know, because sometimes what happens is when you express your views in wrong forums or wrong platforms, then it can mislead the youth again. So it's an individual choice. I firmly believe that I choose the right forum to express my views on various sensitive issues or any issue pertaining to the game or pertaining to society.
Wonderful. So with that, I think we just wrapped up. You're always been a very, very special, that's what we will call you. VBS is always very, very special.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for coming over here, because this is a wonderful platform, and I should congratulate the government of Andhra Pradesh for taking this initiative, because we cannot ever close or keep a close eye on social media, you know, because this is definitely going to be the biggest thing the world will see, you know, and the best way to connect. Nowadays, you know, anyone will come when I'm in the airport, or probably again, you know, when I'm going out, they just take a selfie and within 5 minutes, it's on their Facebook page, you know, so that's the power of social media. So it's a great initiative. It's also through this seminar, I'm sure that the youth, not only who are present here, but through the media and other platforms, will get educated about how social media can create a positive impact. What we require is a positive impact, and I think social media has the ability, has the capability of creating that positive impact. So thank you very much for inviting me here, and I wish the seminar all the very best. Thank you.